His real presence. If I think to that miracle, I celebrate well the Mass. I put more love to Jesus. So I think we do really believe, we really need the Eucharistic miracles. And for the people as well. When this morning came here a man that didn't go to Mass, and I told him, go down and see the miracle. He came up crying. So we need Eucharistic miracle. All the people must know such miracle.
But any who does eat my flesh and drink my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him at the last day. For my flesh is the true food, and my blood is the true drink. Everyone who eats my flesh and drinks my blood is in me, and I in him.
The Lord has given us to believe in the truth of the sacrament. It was a consecrated host that transformed into a heart. Because the Eucharist is the heart of the Church. And it is true that the Church does not exist without the Eucharist. And after the Archbishop found himself at his side and had recounted in a few words the history of the miracle, Pope John Paul II made the following statement, which is so poetic. It is the real presence. Celebrating the Mass has always something which is truly a new experience every time you do it. Each and every time it is an experience which transcends the design and capacity of man. Every time you ascend the altar, everything that is grand and mysterious comes together. And even after several years of priesthood, which passes quickly. Tradition has it that when St. Thomas Aquinas had finished his Corpus Christi Mass, the Christ on his crucifix spoke to him saying, "Well written, Thomas, my own and of my sacrament. What do you want? What do you desire?" Immediately the saint replied, "Nothing, I did it all for you, my Lord." Pope Boniface IX, Sixtus IV, Pius V, Innocent XIII, Clement XII, and Pius VII have together or jointly given special privileges to the pilgrims who came and venerate this Eucharistic miracle that you see here.
We've been asked many times, why did we write the book? And there are many answers. But I think for me, the principal answer is that I had left the church and I'd left Jesus. When we lost our son, I felt very much alone. I felt like God had deserted me. I didn't know that he was there in the church, waiting for me, to heal me, waiting for reconciliation. And so we had this urgency to share the Eucharist with you. Jesus is with us. He's there to heal us. He healed me. He's there to hear us. He heard my pleas. He heard my anger. And he cried for me. I know that now. And I have such an urgency to share this truth with you through the miracles of the Eucharist.
It was produced probably from a company in the 30s. But as you can see, it was dated 1988. The miracle of Siena was 1730, which would be, what, 300, almost, no, under 300 years, like 275 years. The miracle has been there. No, did you hit both?
Yeah, it just takes time to. It just takes some time. Oh, just some time?
Yeah, it'll take some time, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
So, questions, comments. Was this the first time you've ever seen the miracles of the Eucharist? What were your thoughts?
This would be my first time ever watching something like this. In the beginning, when John was talking about, when he was portraying Jesus, in that time period, you would think, yes, someone's kind of mad talking, really, what do you mean flesh? And I could see the time period and how people would probably think that was a crazy idea. And I started thinking like, okay, I take it not literal, and they were taking it literal. But what he was really saying was the word, the Bible, and my words that are coming out. And then once you see the miracles of the Eucharist, it kind of brings it together, like to say, okay, even after your crucifixion and our death, it all really is true.
Yes. Yes.
Like reading it wasn't really setting in, like really miracles, like manna and all that, and then all of a sudden you see it in our time period, in our century, where it's recorded now in a tangible way.
Right.
It makes it more profound.
Every one of these miracles are approved miracles by the church. The church has declared in one form or fashion through decree, papal decree, that these are miracles of God through the Eucharist. And B, they are all pilgrim sites. You can go and visit these shrines now. Go.
See you later.
So these are not locked away in vaults in the Vatican and, and then blah, 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 all those kind of crazy conspiracy theories. These are very public miracles that anyone can go and venerate. And usually it is through pilgrim tours, if you take a pilgrimage tour, because that way the priest will come and they will bring out the miracle for the pilgrims to venerate and so forth. I assume if you went by yourself, you would have to make some sort of appointment, because as you can see, all of these are in tabernacles, special tabernacles, like the one in Lanciano. The miraculous tabernacle is above the regular tabernacle. Did you notice that in the church? It's a church with two tabernacles. One is where they normally repose the host after Mass, like, here in St. Charles. And the one right above it is the one that has the miraculous host that's been around for over 700 years.
How do they bring out the top one, though? It's like a huge frame. They carry it out because it's kept behind, right?
Well, the tabernacle opens up, and then inside is that monstrance that you saw. So they would just take out the monstrance.
Chip, why is that more widely known? I was in Orvieto twice
Oh?
to the church, and I didn't know about it.
Wow.
I didn't know about all these other mysteries either. I guess I've heard a little bit about it.
Right. That's a very good question. I don't have an answer for that, which is part of the reason why I do this every year.
There should be a book telling about those.
Well, there are books. There are several books.
6 or 7 of the miracles. Were there 6 or 7?
There were 4 miracles displayed here, but in the history of the church, my understanding is that there have been 70 approved miracles of the Eucharist, and there are dozens of others that are under investigation. So it's like the church is still investigating, so stay tuned for the final word. Like the one that happened in Siena, it took 180 years before the church said, this is a miracle. So don't be surprised if, some miracle that happened. I'm sure you've all heard of various miraculous Eucharists. I mean, if you've been on YouTube, you've probably seen them that have happened in our century. And they probably are. But is the church going to stand by them? Not until a thorough investigation has been done. Why? Because they don't want to say it was mere. Then someone go, ha ha, we fooled you. This was all a hoax. That's not going to happen. They're going to question everyone. They're going to investigate what they say it is. They're going to send it to laboratories around the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then after many years, they'll finally say, that miraculous hoax that happened in 1994, we stand by it. There's a miracle, okay? So don't be surprised. Why doesn't they just say it's a miracle? What's the reason why? Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to expand upon that. I think it might need to be updated, the video, just because I know I've heard of the miracle at Louisiana, and I know that they reinvestigated it since 1980s. They did another DNA test of it, and so what they found was they did a very good job of controlling it to prevent someone from saying, like, oh, this study coming from the Catholic Church, which just fit it a little bit, so that way we can probably agenda. They actually did a very good job of not telling them. With the scientific sampling, and then the results were so incredible. Not only what they had mentioned, like the cells were still alive, despite it being, I think they said 1,300 years later that the cells were still moving. But specifically now with increased, medical technology, they could tell that it was specifically how the person died. They said, was it a piece of the myocardium, so the heart tissue, is that you could also tell that the person had suffered extremely painful death, or endured extreme suffering. Just from that piece of flesh, Eucharist. So to the point where the scientists had said, you need to tell us what this is, because this is an extreme miracle science that we've never seen before. And then, even then they were hesitant to release it. But I was curious because I thought someone knows the answer to this, but I had also heard the story of the blood piercing the marble, and marble is a surface that penetrated with the substance. I thought that was Sienna. I'm just wondering if anyone knew it.
Wasn't Sienna. Sienna was the not bloody one. It was the one in Bolsena, the one that you saw the splatter shots, where they removed the stones from the church. You remember you saw that?
The cross there dripping down.
They removed the stones and put them in separate reliquaries for that. I don't know if it was marble or what it was.
And which one was that?
The one in Bolsena.
So I'm just thinking, so you think the reason why it waits over like a decade, over a century, before the church concludes that it's a miracle or not, do you think they're waiting for the people who claim they're witnesses to the miracle to die out? So they can come back and...
No, that's not it. It's to make sure that there is no possibility of any other explanation other than a miracle. It's the same thing with all the miracles at Lourdes. There have only been about 69 cases in the history of Lourdes, over 150 years now, that the church would say this is a miracle. And yet there are hundreds of people that go to Lourdes that probably have remarkable stories to tell. And why? Well, part of it is, especially nowadays, the kind of investigation a person goes through who claims to have been miraculously cured is quite intense. And some people just don't want to go through that because they are really grilled. I mean, they're grilled. And you've heard the term a devil's advocate? Mm-hmm. The whole term the devil's advocate was invented to these claims. Someone comes up and says, I've been miraculously healed. A tribunal of the church is set up, and there are those, it's like a jury, it's like a trial. And there are priests on both sides. One whose sole responsibility is to support and defend what the person is saying. And the other one is to do everything in their power to discredit and disprove it. He is the devil's advocate. You see? Because the word devil means adversary, someone who's opposed to it. And they'll say, they weren't really sick. They just had a headache. They didn't have Alzheimer's disease. Oh, they this and that. It was chemotherapy that cured their cancer. And the church has to take that into account. Well, maybe it was. And then the other side goes, oh, but this and this and this and that. I mean, the miracles that happen today that give us new saints, like Blessed, or now Saint Jacinta and Francisco. I mean, they are blindness, deafness, people on the brink of death, people with paralysis, things like this that are just incurable now by our medical science. These are the kinds. Whereas 200 years ago, people who might have had smallpox or diphtheria or polio, and then they were cured. You see what I mean? What was impossible back then is more possible now. So the kinds of miraculous events that constitute these kinds of things that the church stands behind have to be extreme. And I don't know about you, but it always thrills me to hear that we have new saints being pronounced by the church. You know why? Because I figure in order for this person to be declared a saint, no matter who it is or when they live, someone nowadays had to have had some sort of miraculous occurrence, which means God is still performing extraordinary miracles today. Think about that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And people go, I don't see any miracle. Y'all just a bunch of, this is all medieval superstition. Really? Talk to those people whom the church has investigated and said. Because behind every saint that is pronounced nowadays, there's at least 2 miracles behind them that the church has grilled like you don't know. You don't know. To the point where there is no other explanation other than God came in.